Hi, everybody's volume's off.
Hello.
Hi.
Yay! Wow, we have a quorum and it's not even a regularly scheduled meeting night. Yay. So anyway, there we go. We have Jude, we have Connor. Okay. So we'll try to be quick. And so the two things that we wanted to do, one that I already addressed was Jude's idea. And let me pull up the document that I'm working on. And let me go up to the item. Oh, it was the top. There we go. So I'm going to share my screen in just a moment. There we go. And I'm going to try to. There we go. We'll take out that. There we go. We're good. So I can see everything on one page here. And then I'll share my screen. Got to kind of get it ready. There we go. I don't know. Things are funny all of a sudden. I had up what I wanted to have up and now it's gone. So I need to stop sharing. And I need to get what I'm trying to get in the right spot, and then I'll share again. Let me do it this way. There we go. So it's very odd. There we go. All right. I think we've got it now. So the things that I did, the one was, so Jude, so what the side-by-side file is, I made a new copy of it. And as we may recall, the left side is what the new thing looks like. The right side is what the old thing looks like. Anything in blue on the right side is because that's a word that used to be there, but it's not there anymore. Anything in blue on the left side was the iteration of changes we gave to the town board previously. And anything in red in the left side is what we've changed since the town board saw the document. So I'm not making a change as we make iterations of the red. I'm just, red means the town board didn't see it yet, and we might have changed it, but just so you know, I did make the change that Jude recommended that I think Connor said was okay. The building envelope of any site plan must preserve a minimum of 100 feet of forest from the physical ridge line. So I know Jude had asked for those wording changes. I was okay with it, and I think I saw Connor was okay with it. So that's in there. One thing and before we get to the poisoning thing, the other change that I did just make, because I read everything from start to finish myself and was trying to see if anything else stood out that needed to be done. I added this sentence here because the different sections talk about, sorry, if I come back up here, the section for 26066 really talks about the law. And then the next section, let me come down here. We got, yeah, the A, B, and C. And part of what C talks about is what's prohibited. And it talks about non-essential, but non-essential is talked about earlier in A. And when it does come down here and say additional description of non-essential is included in A, 266 A1G, I added that maintenance also is addressed in H because we agreed on what was going to be in the maintenance. And I just thought it belonged here because when we talk about the non-essential tree cutting, I thought it made sense if we're going to point people back to item G, which describes non-essential, that this section also ought to point them back to the maintenance, because that's like the complete picture. You can't, you can't do non-essential tree cutting, but you can maintain, and I thought that we ought to be pointing to both places from here. So I was just pointing to the same section that we worked on at the last meeting. So I didn't know if, I just wanted to point out that I'd thrown that in there to see if anybody had an issue, that I just pointed back to another section because I thought it was more complete.
I think that's great.
Yeah, okay. So the poison, and the article that you sent was very interesting
Mm.
and unfortunate and shocking, but possible that people could think something like that was an idea. So I thought that if we were to, I didn't know if you already had verbiage, Jude, that you thought would be good, but I thought it kind of maybe belonged, um, because we talk about, so item G again does talk about minimizing a tree cutting. And then at the end of item G, which is very long, it does talk about the removal of dead trees or severely pest damaged trees is allowed. I didn't know whether the poisoning of, I didn't know where the poisoning of trees belonged. I didn't know if it belonged here. Does it belong its own item that follows? Um, if we come up to the top of item 1, proposed development shall include the following measures. Here's, if you're going to develop, here's what you need to do. I didn't know if you had a thought of where a statement about.
I didn't, because this just kind of all came up today, right?
Right.
With the stuff. And
Well,
I,
there's a prohibited section. Let me just go down to the prohibited section. Maybe
well,
that's.
I was thinking, like it could be non-essential tree cutting, or any destruction to trees, including but not limited to.
Well,
Um,
here's the prohibited. This is the prohibited section. So here we talk again about all non-essential tree cutting, including clear cutting, logging, topping, and limbing, because in this prohibited section, we talk about all that stuff.
right.
Oh,
And
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, as an add-on in this section, not to pin it on to the same number as non-essential tree cutting, but to set it apart as, say, the misapplication of herbicide or the intentional, poisoning of trees, essentially.
Well,
Mhm.
I was like, I think we just want to put something, but not limited to. And I was also thinking, the other thing people do is they gird trees. Has anybody ever heard of this?
Oh, wait, you say girdle?
I think it's gird. Is it
Well,
gird?
it could be gird. But you mean they tie something around it so the tree
Yeah, to keep it
dies.
from growing.
And
Or
as the tree grows, it suffocates itself. It chokes itself.
yes.
Um, so no
I don't know if
poisoning.
that's the correct.
I mean,
No.
I'm
Well,
with you, Jude, though, on coming up with something that's kind of expansive because, again, if we try to come up with every clever, thing a person could think of, we're not, we'll never get this law done.
Yeah.
right, exactly.
Well, so I guess I wonder whether we ought to add an item, because if so, yes, the non-essential tree cutting, right, is you're taking stuff down. We're talking about something that's a little more devious than that, which is you're intentionally killing a tree. And I think it should be in this section that's prohibited. What's prohibited? The following activities are prohibited in the scenic overlay district. And I think it belongs there. And I think it maybe belongs after the non-essential, but before personal wireless service facility, which is a whole new thing. So if I were to put it someplace, um,
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah, so let me see if I can copy this and see if I can, um, yeah, and of course, yeah, things don't always. Oh, there we go.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, there, look at that, right? I'm just gonna manually type it to get it to move. There we go. All right. So we're gonna call, well, this is 2. We're gonna keep it, whoops. We're gonna keep it 2. This is gonna become 3, which is now gonna be red because it is changed. This is gonna be, let me just make it blue because this is different from what's in there today. Okay. And so we're going to say, intentional,
Intentional or deliberate destruction of trees.
well, I know I'll even take out intentional because whether you do it or not, destruction, actions taken which result in the destruction of trees, whether you do it or not, actions taken which result in the of trees, including, and we'll have to go look up, is it girding? We'll have to go look up
Yeah, what that is, yeah.
what that is. I'm on my phone. I'm gonna see if I can look it up on my phone.
Let's see. I can look it up too.
Well, the one thing about that intentional element is that, you know, in the quotation that Jude included, you know, one thing stood out. We had the thing. What was it? What did she say?
Yeah, I think it's
Peacock. It
girdling. I'm
says,
sorry, jump in. So I think it is girdling. If I look up girdling, it
Girdling,
refers to as
girdling.
girdling.
That's right.
right. Well, all I'm getting at is that it says there's 1,500 to 10,000 per violation for unauthorized herbicide application, and up to $50,000 when if or when the state investigators find clear evidence that the violator benefited substantially.
Yes, and I may get you to say that again to me. Okay. Which in the destruction of trees, including girdling, um, or, a-
I would say
and,
including but not limited to.
which including,
Limited to.
but not to, girdling, girdling and or application, application of,
Herbicides, yeah, that's what they called it, right?
yeah, okay. And then kind of, if you could kind of read off what, because you read off, well,
So I'll just read from where it starts because it's a quote, but
yeah.
let's see. That they're working on new legislation that would stiffen fines from $1,500 to $10,000
Mhm.
per, and now here's the important part, per violation for unauthorized herbicide application. Unauthorized herbicide application.
Okay, and or unauthorized.
But that would go under some sort of pet. Okay.
Application of them.
And then that last part, and up to $50,000 when state investigators find clear evidence that the violator benefited substantially.
Well, we have,
Ours is worded differently, and I mean, again, it kind of, you know, I we can get there with 2,500 a day, but you know, I mean, again, I don't think that's limiting, you know, the scope of remediation in any way.
yeah. So so you think that we don't have to change our remediation statements? You think we're okay?
I think so. I mean, you know, we just reduced the amount. You know, I wanted to keep it at 5,000, but you know, I mean,
Yeah,
get it moving, I suppose,
let's
at
get it
this
moving.
point.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. So I'm, uh,
Okay, so what does this, can we go back and see what the heading for this actions taken which result in the
yeah,
destruction?
the heading of this section is items that are prohibited.
Okay, good,
The
okay.
following uses and activities are prohibited in the scenic overlay district. Violations may incur fines.
Okay.
Okay. So we've added, and of course I wish I could fix the indentation, but I tried to add spaces and it just it doesn't really help. So
When you get to the final document, it might be easier because you've got the split.
Well, yeah, because I got the side by side. You're 100% right about that. When I have the final document that doesn't have the side by side, it just has the right. It just has the left-hand side stuff. You're right. I'll be able to fix it there. So very good point. Okay. Now the other thing so we've covered that. The other thing is I did one last look through that I was interested in. I know I'm kind of stopping and starting here. And let me see if I can find it. Yeah, there we go. When we talk about, we added this thing at the bottom here about recreational development, for example, decks, swimming pools, courts, etc. And what my question was we have this section here. It's a really long sentence. It starts here and it ends here with the planning board will undertake special use permit review. So what my question was whether the recreational stuff should somehow be added up to be part of this list, because this list talks about prior to the issuance of a building permit for development at a site, for example, land development, grading, building pads, construction of new house exceeding 150 square feet in floor area, accessory structure, any addition or accessory structure of any size, and maybe because we say any addition or accessory structure of any size, maybe that does include the recreational development down here. So I guess in a way it kind of is included up here because we kind of list all this stuff and we go ahead and say the planning board needs a special use permit review, and then we talk about the recreational stuff without making it part of this big list. But I guess that's okay because it's maybe included in this when we say any addition or accessory structure of any size. I guess that would include recreational development. So so I just didn't know if this blue stuff here should be listed up top here instead of being kind of hanging out by itself.
I think it's fine to move it up there and have it all together. I think it clarifies it. I think you're right.
Yeah. Okay. So Connor, are you okay if I move it up?
Sure, yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Because I think that, it's interesting, like a swimming pool would be considered an accessory structure. I don't know that a basketball court or a pickleball court
Yeah.
would be considered a structure. So I think it's good to
Yeah.
put.
So, and in fact, what I may do, is I may keep the words down here because it does say limited in scope or may be denied, but just list up here that recreational stuff is included in all of this.
Okay.
So let me just, or any additional accessory structure of any size, not complying with this section. We have like a really long sentence here, which is a little unfortunate. So let me just kind of read it one more time. Yes.
I think that was there, right?
Yeah. All the black stuff was there before. Or any additional accessory structure of any size, not complying with.
So any addition, accessory structure or recreational, what did you call them?
Including recreational
Right.
of any size.
What did you call them down below? Recreational what?
Yeah, we call it recreational development, including recreational development. Structure of any size, including. Okay, and then that way we refer to it and then they can see the detail down below, but they do know recreational development is.
Could be a golf course.
It could be a golf course. There you go. Yeah, and actually we maybe want to add that, right? For example, decks, swimming pools, courts for sport activities. Should we add golf courses while we're at it?
I don't know. Is that realistic that could exist up there? I guess it could. I mean, there are some flat areas way up high. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll leave it like that though. We say etc. So okay.
Making a joke.
Okay. So we referred to recreation development up here, which seemed like it was missing since we talked about below.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I think that that's everything that I had thought that we wanted to touch on. So my next step is going to be to take the side by side stuff. So I'll pass back to the town board this document, which is a side by side look, and then the new what the law looks like, because the law, has a section A, 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, and then then you have severability, meaning if one part doesn't fly, there's the other parts of the law still hold and all that stuff. So I'll also plunk it into the stuff on the left-hand side. I'll put it into the law, and I won't have it in color because if people want to see what changed, they can see the side by side. So I'll have the law as it's going to look when it's gets adopted. So I'll be sending everybody two documents. This one we're looking at here, and then the one that is the actual law.
Great, that's wonderful. Thank you for doing all that work. It's a lot of
Thank you.
Well, we all did it together. So it's gonna, maybe me to popping this out and popping it in the other document is easy. The hard part was getting the words. So we're making it better all the time.
So the fence law didn't get set for a public hearing.
Oh, so what? Yeah. Bill promises it's going to be on a week from tomorrow. Right. Well, you know what happened at the last, I don't know if you watched it or if you heard about the last town board meeting, but it was absorbed all about the employee who had the criminal record and but is out on parole. And our Ulster County District Attorney Manny Neji came. The room was full of people. And the reason why Manny Neji came is because he's gotten so many emails. He said, I'm just going to come to a town board meeting and I'm just going to answer all your questions on the spot instead of responding to however many people sent him emails. So the last meeting, the focus was 100% on, well, not 100% because we did have some resolutions that we passed after that. But the main focus of the meeting was Manny Neji and the whole room. So it really wasn't the best time to say, oh, now let's think about this. So what Bill has said is it's going to be, we got the secret done. So Bill and I got the secret done. And so he has told me that it's going to be on the agenda for this coming a week from tomorrow is when our meeting is to wrap it up.
To set the public hearing, right? You have to set it.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Do you have to advertise that?
Well, we had the public hearing already.
Yes.
So in the meeting prior, I think it was the last meeting in August, we had the public hearing. And what Bill does is he keeps the public hearing open at the call of the chair. I forget the exact terminology, but the public hearing is officially still open. And then at a subsequent meeting, he then says, okay, public hearing's still open. If there's any comment, people can say, but there probably won't be. And then he says, we'll close the public, he has a resolution to close the public hearing and to make it law. So he kind of wraps it up all at once. So, the public hearing.
That's great. But my question is, does he have to advertise that 2 weeks prior? When he
that the public hearing, my belief is he really only had to advertise the one that I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing. My belief is he only has to advertise the original public hearing. I don't think he has to advertise that the wrap up happens because he advertised the original one 2 weeks before. So I think he's probably good.
Good. Okay. Things are moving along.
We're gonna keep it moving. So my hope is to get this into the town board, and probably what we'll do is I'll probably mention this at the meeting a week from Tuesday, so town board members know they have it again. And then hopefully Bill will then set the public hearing, hopefully for the first meeting in October. So we'll just keep it. We just keep it going.
That would be awesome. Get this on the move.
I hate to ask Connor how many years it's been.
Oh, 6.
Well, it hasn't been 6.
Feels
like it.
For just this one. Well, I mean, since we divvied it up, yeah, it's been 6, but us as the focus, probably 3 or 4 now.
Yeah. It's I know it's drug on longer than you had hoped for sure, but I think we're gonna be moving it along. Oh, now what else was it? I know the other email that you sent, Jude, was about it was very interesting. People renting out their pool. That's in a zoning law? You said the zoning law doesn't allow it. That's a zoning law?
Well, no, the zoning law does, anything that's not listed is not permitted. That's in the law.
Ah,
What I'm
okay.
saying is that's why the whole short-term rental thing got put into law, because it was not technically allowed because it
Mhm.
wasn't mentioned. So since it's not listed as being permitted, it's prohibited. So, what happens is people talk to me because they know I'm involved in this stuff. So they talk to somebody else who then talks to me, and
Right.
I hadn't heard of this, that
Mhm.
this was going on, but apparently it's going on in Woodstock. And if you can imagine, as you can imagine, it's a nuisance.
Well, I can imagine it's a nuisance, especially since, and I did look at the link that you sent, and she said she didn't allow parties, I think. She didn't allow smoking, alcohol, or parties, I think. I did look at that, but still, I can imagine it could be disruptive to neighbors. And then there were two comments from people who had rented. One person loved it, said beautiful area, and the other person said she had double booked and he couldn't get any money back, and then didn't even get a chance to swim because she had booked somebody else there. Anyway, regulating it. But the other thing too
I just,
is I would think that there ought to be some safety statement that says, what if somebody drowns in the pool?
I
So,
can imagine any insurance company wants to go along with this.
yeah, yeah. So it does seem like it ought to be regulated somehow if it's going to happen. And I know that you were saying, what if we should we pick this up? Um, uh, I don't know, Connor, you get an opinion. What do you think? Should we try to pick up regulating pool rentals?
Well, I mean, I feel like it's not the kind of thing that should hopefully take too long. To me, this is part and parcel with the Airbnb thing.
Right,
And this
right.
is, and honestly, this is one of the things I talked about, back in 2019 or whatever it was. I mean, at some point, are we just playing whack-a-mole with people privatizing their properties? And,
Yeah.
like this is an Airbnb style application for
Mm.
just for swimming pools.
Right. What is exactly? It
Like,
is.
and
Yeah.
what like it's at some point it's just got to be. And again, if like Jude said, if the zoning law says if it's not approved, or if I'm sorry, if it's not listed, it's not
Right. If it's not
permitted,
listed, it's not permitted.
then I think that needs to be exercised. But I mean, what would we do to improve on that is my
Hmm.
question.
Well, I copied Butch and William on it because I
Yes.
wasn't sure that they were aware. And this came up because someone was complaining about it to someone else who told me. And I don't
Right.
have the specifics on that property, but I was like, I will definitely bring this to the building department because nobody should have to live next door to a constant stream of people just using swimming pool. You rent it
Right.
hourly. I mean, I just can't even imagine. That's not
Yeah.
even a weekend. I mean, listen, I don't want to, we said this was going to be a quick meeting, so we'll take
Yeah.
it up because there was another article which I will send, which is about Southampton, which is now the minimum you can rent short term is 2 weeks now because they were having such a problem. Now, I don't think it's a different degree than what's going on here, but it was interesting to see there are parts of the Hamptons where they just don't allow them at all anymore because they have become so out of hand. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
but we're
Well,
going to talk about all that when we get to that.
well, we're supposed to meet in a week, so things to talk about. All right. Well,
Okay,
thank you both
great.
because I'm so happy to get the scenic overlay. We're feeling good about it, and we're gonna move this forward. So,
That's great. Thank you guys for addressing those things. And,
mhm.
this is the longer it takes, the more things are just going to keep popping, you know? But I think,
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Absolutely. So, all right, we're gonna talk in a week. Thank you both very much, and
Right.
enjoy your week.
See you.
uh,
Okay. Bye bye.